Hello everybody and welcome to another live stream on Twitch. It is great to see you. We have been on Twitch a lot today. I've been live streaming a hell of a lot of content out. If you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, highly recommend you check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Diary of a Pro Gambler, to get this content fast before anywhere else. And I have recorded some videos today that I haven't been able to upload to YouTube because of stupid copyright issues, where I haven't actually breached copyright, but whatever, I don't want to get into it. But yeah, make sure you check me out on Twitch because I'm pumping out a lot more content on there lately. And in this video, I'm going to do something that I've never actually done before, which I think you guys might enjoy. And it's just another stage really of the live research that I've been pumping out over the last few weeks. So obviously, I do a lot of live research videos where, if there's a fighter which has, got a decent amount of footage on them from outside of the UFC, I kind of watch those videos with you guys on Twitch and then we kind of discuss them and I give my thoughts once it's done. But a fight that I've spent a lot of time researching today is a fight many of you are interested in. It's Maycee Barber against Gillian Robertson. And I've watched tons of footage on both girls. And there is a missing piece of the puzzle for me. One fight that I haven't watched yet. So I thought it would be pretty cool if we watched that together. And then I can kind of give you my final thoughts on this fight. Because the fight that I'm going to be watching right now with you guys is the final thing that I will watch before making my decision. And I really, really want to watch this fight from LFA 39 against Audrey Perkins. Now, it isn't available online, as far as I can see, but I've managed to download this fight. It's been downloading for the last few hours, which means now I am ready to wrap this one up and basically give my verdict on it. So what I thought we could do is I'll give you kind of like a mini breakdown. It's going to be super rough. It's not going to be one of my super structured breakdowns. But I will basically give you a little bit of a breakdown from where I am at the moment. How I feel about this fight, because I am certainly considering a bet on this fight. And then what we will do, I will, after we watch the final fight together, I will then summarize how I feel about this and whether I'm going to bet on it or not. So first of all, we can talk a little bit about the X factors with these two girls. So Gillian Robertson, obviously training at American Top Team. We saw Dean Thomas walking out with her for today's weigh-ins, which was super cool to see, especially considering, Dean Thomas has got strong connections with Rufus Sport, and Maycee Barber has been training for Rufus Sport, or at Rufus Sport, for a little bit of this training camp. So Gillian Robertson, trains at one of the best MMA gyms in the world, in my opinion, the best MMA gyms in the world. And here we can see some training pictures with her with Amanda Rebus, who looked absolutely superb last week against Mackenzie Dern. I'm sure she trains with Joanna Jędrzejczyk as well. There we go. Picture with one of the best strawweights in the world, Charles Roaster as well, the fights this weekend alongside her. So yeah, Gillian Robertson trains at ATT. As for Maycee Barber, she's a bit of a nomad. She travels around a lot, and here you can see she's training with a legend that is Duke Rufus at Rufus Sport. So Maycee Barber taking some decent steps to get ready for this fight. Rufus Sport, certainly a great gym to train at. Here we can see her alongside Sergio Pettis. Good stuff. And here we can see her also with the legendary Ben Askren, that spends a lot of time training at Rufus Sport. He is, of course, fighting next week in the main event of UFC Singapore against Damian Maia, although it is worth noting that Maycee Barber did say in her Fight Week interview that she only trained with Askren for like 2 days. So nothing major there. Dr. Remilak has said that I should use this account to broadcast content instead of YouTube, because YouTube is treating me poorly. I am definitely thinking about it, mate. I am becoming more and more disillusioned with YouTube. Basically, guys, what happened was I uploaded my UFC weigh-in reaction video to YouTube earlier on, and it's really annoying. Spent ages getting the description done, the thumbnail done and everything like that after broadcasting it on Twitch. I just went to upload it to YouTube. And you're allowed to upload UFC weigh-in footage to YouTube because it's considered promotional material. So it comes into fair use. if you go back through my videos in the past, I've got plenty of videos that include UFC weigh-in footage. You're allowed to use it. It doesn't get flagged for copyright. But you know, just before the main event fighters in the ceremonial weigh-ins walk out on the stage, they play like a little clip promoting the fight. My video got flagged for copyright because of a 30-second clip from one of Chris Weidman's fights that they played in the promo for the ceremonial weigh-ins. It's just fucking ridiculous. YouTube is getting out of control. Just really, really frustrating, really. So yeah, Twitch is a way more content creator friendly platform. We won't dwell on that now because we are talking about the fight between Maycee Barber and Gillian Robertson. So as part of my research up until this stage, I've watched these 3 fights from Maycee Barber. But the problem with these 3 fights is that all 3 of these girls are primarily strikers. And from what I can tell, Maycee Barber has really poor takedown defense. If you watch her against JJ Aldrich in that first round, she threw loads of naked kicks that Aldrich was easily able to catch and basically trip her onto the ground. And Maycee Barber went to her back way too easily. Also in the fight against Jamie Colleen in the 3rd round, Colleen was doing the same thing. You know, she was able to catch kicks and put Barber on her back quite easily. So you may be thinking, well, if these girls, without any offensive wrestling, are able to get Barber down, well then surely Robertson will be able to get her down too, right? And absolutely, Robertson isn't the strongest offensive wrestler, but she certainly has good enough takedown defense to put Barber on her back from what I've seen. But I do feel that a lot of people are misjudging this fight. They're not reading it correctly because a lot of the narrative around, people trying to predict how this fight is going to play out has come down to, Robertson's got an advantage on the ground, Barber's got an advantage standing. This is a striker versus grappler matchup. This fight will be decided by whether or not Robertson can get Maycee Barber down. And I can tell you right now, I'm very, very, very sure that Robertson can get Barber down. I'm like 75% sure, based on the fights that I've seen, that Robertson can get Barber down. That is not a discussion for me at all. But I am thinking of betting Barber here, which would completely contradict what a lot of people are saying, right, when it comes to this fight. Because a lot of people think if Robertson can get Maycee Barber down, she's going to win. I'm not so sure, because if you go back and watch Gillian Robertson's fights against Veronica Macedo and Mayra Bueno Silva and Barb Honchak, you'll see that when she's on the ground, she's so desperate to get fights to the ground that she will roll to her back and give up top position to her opponents. And that's very, very dangerous here, because Maycee Barber's ground and pound is absolutely devastating. I mean, Hannah Cyphers is an absolute warrior, and if you go back and watch that fight, literally the ground and pound that Barber's able to inflict it'll make you cringe. It'll make you winch. It's absolutely vicious. And remember, when Gillian Robertson fought Barb Honchak on The Ultimate Fighter, I know it was a long time ago, I know Robertson's going to have improved a lot since then, but she does give up position a lot, chasing long shot submissions on the ground. She did it against Macedo, repeatedly gave Macedo an opportunity to improve her position, but Macedo wasn't able to make her pay for it. Barb Honchak was a bit more streetwise, took that top position when Robertson gifted it to her on a plate, postured up, delivered ground and pound, and Robertson basically quit in this fight. So what I've seen from Robertson is she is a very, very skilled grappler, very, very dangerous submission artist. Not the best offensive wrestler, but heavy from top position. Decent submission artist. But like I say, because she's fallen in love with the submissions, she does chase submission over position, which puts her in a lot of trouble. And from what I've seen, if Maycee Barber gets on top of her, Robertson will be in big trouble, because Barber's ground and pound is devastating. It's absolutely vicious, and we've seen Robertson quit under nasty ground and pound in the past. So at the moment, I'm very, very tempted to bet on Barber, but we don't really know what we see or what we're going to see when this fight goes to the ground, because like I say, she's only been fighting strikers over the last few years. So I've downloaded this fight from LFA 39 against Audrey Perkins, and I'm hoping that there's a bit more grappling in this fight, because what I would also say is Gillian Robertson isn't the best offensive wrestler, And Maycee Barber is very, very good in the scramble. You know, she's a strong, powerful girl. And I think that even though, you know, from a technical point of view, Robertson probably is the more skilled grappler, I think that if these two girls hit the ground, there's a good chance that Barber big sisters her. You know the expression big brother, when a fighter's not as technically skilled as their opponent, but just through sheer physicality, they overpower them and overwhelm them. I think that's what we might get from Barber, because she is pure violence. She's just fucking violent. She's got huge holes in her game, you know, very sloppy striking, bad striking defense, super scrappy on the ground. But it's that scrappiness that makes her so dangerous here, because she is just vicious, throws knees, elbows, hard power punches. I mean, we saw her losing every single second of her last fight against JJ Aldrich before basically landing one punch, breaking Aldrich's nose, and it completely changed the course of the fight. So, you know, I want to basically watch this fight with you guys now. Maycee Barber against Audrey Perkins, and I'm going to give my summary on this fight, because at the moment I cap Barber as having around about a 60% chance of winning. Now, the problem with this being a 60-40 fight in favour of Barber is, wow, okay, so literally since I started this stream, her odds on 5 dimes have improved to 1.80. But generally speaking, her average odds around or across the board are about 1.74, which is minus 135 for an implied probability of 57%. So with me capping her at 60%, there's only a 2.5% margin here, which isn't good enough for me. The two things need to happen for me to bet this fight. I need to either see things in this fight against Audrey Perkins, which I really like, which will enable me to cap Barber at 65 to 70%, which would give me a decent margin on her at odds of 1.74, or we need to chill on it, see how the odds move, and hope that Barber's odds get up closer to the 1.80 territory like they are on 5 dimes. If they reach this number across the board, that is a bit of a better margin. That's 56%, and I'd be very tempted to take Barber at those odds. But what we really need to do now, we need to watch this fight from LFA 39. But before we do, I'm just going to check the live chat on Twitch, see if we've got any questions here. So, Salazar has said it's a tough call, maybe Robertson for the ground game. Lee Dosis has asked if I've managed to come up with a good story talking about what you do for a living. Well, funny you should say that, Lee Dosis. If you've been spending time in my chat room recently, I've been talking about, I'm going to be basically looking at creating different income streams over the next few years, because I don't like to have all my eggs in one basket. So I'm currently exploring the idea of opening up a dog grooming business in my area. So yes, in the very near future, I might actually tell people that I own a chain of dog grooming shops as opposed to being a professional gambler, which will be a lot less awkward. Floats, thanks a lot, dude. Floats has just subscribed with his Amazon Prime account to become one of my Twitch Prime subscribers. Thank you very much, Floats. Flores Bunny 7 has said, why didn't I get a notification when you went live? I'm not sure, sorry dude. I am not the most experienced when it comes to Twitch. Thanks a lot, Floats. I really appreciate you being a VIP member on my website as well, man. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Tasmanian 187 also saying that he didn't receive a notification this time. Xander Money is saying that Barber is set by second round KO. Wonder what the odds on that are. Let's take a look. Barber in round 2, 6.25. Not great. Not great at all. Right, let's watch this fight. Here we go. Barber against, I keep having to check this poor girl's name, Audrey Perkins. Hopefully this will give us all the information we need to bet on Maycee Barber, or to pass and save us from putting our money in a marginal position. I also just want to check what weight class this is, because I know Barber's jumped about from strawweight to flyweight a little bit. Strawweight. Okay, so this fight is at strawweight, 115 pounds, and she's obviously fought at flyweight. For her last 2 fights, she'll be fighting a flyweight against Gillian Robertson. Although she should have a bit of a size advantage over Robertson. She's 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Robertson is 5'2", 66-inch reach. Pretty much the same size. What am I talking about? Barber obviously in the green shorts. And don't forget, boys, leave a comment below if you've got any questions about this fight. I will answer it as we go. And really, you know, I feel pretty confident in saying Barber's going to have the advantage striking here, even though from a technical point of view, she's super sloppy, you know, super sloppy offense, super sloppy defense. She's so fucking scrappy that I think that she would just out-scrap Robertson if the fight stayed standing, because Robertson is a very timid striker. And I mean, we saw in the JJ Aldrich fight, we're seeing a little bit here as well. Barber doesn't mind getting punched in the face. She's very tough, doesn't mind the scrap. She does take a lot of damage because she's got bad striking defense, but I do really feel like this fight's going to go to the ground, because Robertson's going to want the fight on the ground. Barber doesn't have the takedown defense to keep the fight standing. I'm more interested in seeing a little bit of Barber's ground game here. And her opponent, you know, Perkins, is moving pretty well. She looks pretty good. You know, she certainly landed some decent shots on Barber early, so I'm hoping we get to see a bit of Barber's grappling here. You can certainly see why Rufus Sport would be a decent camp for Barber to go train at. Got that nice light on the feet, in and out style. So there you can see an example of Barber's takedown defense. And really speaking, we haven't seen in her past fights too much of a takedown defense from traditional wrestling, single leg and double leg takedowns. We haven't really seen her defend a lot of them because she's only been fighting strikers. But what we have seen is she throws a lot of these goofy kicks that her opponents are easily able to turn into takedowns. So you remember a few moments ago when I was kind of giving my thoughts on how I feel about this fight so far. You know, I was saying JJ Aldrich was able to catch kicks and take it down. Jamie Colleen did the same thing, and now in this first round we've just seen Audrey Perkins do the same thing. So I'm pretty sure, you know, Gillian Robertson, trainer at American Top Team, you know, the best MMA gym in the world, she is going to be well prepared for this fight, and her coaches are going to have drilled catching kicks, turning them into takedowns. So it doesn't really matter what her offensive wrestling's like in this fight. Barber's going to gift her takedowns just because of the goofy kicks that she throws, and now we get to see a little bit of Barber's ground game. So looking quite weak off her back initially. You know, the first thing that I've noticed is that she went to full guard instead of trying to immediately explode back to her feet. You know, just a few moments ago we can see here, you know, when she initially gets taken down on the kick, wait for it here, at this point, you know, you don't want to see her letting her opponent establish a dominant position. What you want to see her do is use this space as she hits the ground to try and explode back to her feet. And actually here, as her in this position, oh, I've gone too far. If you go back 10 seconds, I'll try and pause it in the correct point. But if we go to here, where she's kind of got her legs, you know, tangled up, and she's kind of thinking about going for a triangle or an armbar, what she should be trying to do in this position is use her legs to kick off Perkins to create enough space to scramble back to her feet, but she doesn't do that. She actually does the opposite and looks to regain full guard. I mean, there's a lot of space there that she could have used to stand back up, but instead of trying to use her legs to push off on her opponent, she just goes to full guard, which isn't good. It really isn't good, because this is a position Gillian Robertson wants to be in. Now, what I would say about this position is that, like I say, even though Barber's looking quite weak on her back here, Robertson does like to give up position chasing these long shot submissions. You know, we saw in the Maycee fight there were multiple reversals from each girl. So, you know, even if Robertson does get into this position, if Barber's very active off her back, there's a good job that she can create scrambles and wind up on top. Because like I say, Robertson loves giving up top position. She didn't in her last fight against Sarah Frota, but she did multiple times against Veronica Maycee. And here you can just see, you know, Barber trying to work her legs up higher, working for an arm bar, or she's actually transitioned to an omoplata now. Thinking about a triangle. So very, very active off her back, which is good to see, but I would prefer her, you know, using the space that she's creating here. I mean, she's going for an armbar now. I would prefer to see her use this space that she's creating to try and either explode back to her feet or take top position instead of just fishing for these long shot submissions, because this is the type of fight that Gillian Robertson wants to get involved in, right? She wants to get involved in these crazy ground exchanges with loads of transitions and loads of scrambles, so that she can look for an opportunity to jump on your neck or take you back and put you in a terrible position. So, you know, even though Barber is very offensive on the ground here, you gotta imagine that, you know, Gillian Robertson would be a much higher level than Perkins, but she's created a decent scramble there to end up on, you know, in top position. But she's way too high up on her opponent's back. I was going to say way too high up on her opponent's back to get back control here, but she has managed to get it, which is very, very nice. Although that might say more about her opponent's defense from back control than Maycee Barber's ability to take the back, because, like I say, she was very high up on the torso of her opponent there. Deep hook in, though, on the right side. You can see her opponent trying to turn into her to end up on top. We'll be interested to see if Perkins does end up on top here. I mean, Barber's got the arm under the chin there. Her opponent's in a bad position. And there we see, guys, this is a bit of a problem with Barber. So she got complacent in that position, got shaken off the back, and now she's ended up on the bottom again. So it's definitely, I mean, it's red flag city, right? I mean, I know this fight was just over a year ago. This fight was May 2018. So red flag city. You know, she's not being intelligent on the ground. She's not using these space and these scrambles to get back to her feet. She's not using this space or these scrambles to get on top and stay on top. She's making a lot of fundamental mistakes that a more technical grappler like Gillian Robertson would be able to make her pay for. But she's managed to create a reversal here for herself and end up in mount. But again, this says more about the mistakes that Perkins is making than what Barber is doing right. So as you can see, Barber is very scrappy in all positions, but is also making a lot of mistakes in all positions, and can't help but feel that if she makes those same mistakes against a more technical grappler like Robertson, she's going to be in a little bit of trouble. So definitely not liking what I've seen from Barber in that first round, which was a shame because I was considering a bet on her, but at the moment, based on what I just saw in that first round, she is making it very difficult for me to trust her with my money. Yeah, I am sorry, guys. Ghostface Killer has said the dog is back. You know what, guys? The dog, I'm telling you, there's toys dotted around the house of my dog. Right, C's, come here, mate. I'll introduce you. Caesar, come by here, boss. Come by here. Come by here, C's. Come and meet everybody. Come here, C's. Come here. There he is, guys. Don't know if you can see him. Do you want to say anything in the mic, C's? There he is. So there's loads and loads of like squeaky toys dotted around the house, and he never ever plays with them until I want to go on a stream. Why is that, C's? Why? Oh, I don't need kisses. No, don't kiss me on the stream. You'll embarrass me. So yeah, he never ever plays with his squeaky toys apart from when I want to do a video. So I am sorry, guys, but I'm sure he's going to be an absolute nightmare in the background now. But we're into the second round, right? And there you can see, guys, right? Easy takedown from Perkins. Easy takedown. I mean, Barber's able to kind of work for a guillotine to take top position. But again, Perkins stays persistent on this single leg and again completes a takedown. Loads of crazy grappling exchanges. And Barber has managed to take Perkins' back here. But remember, Robertson is a much stronger grappler than Perkins, and look, no tight hooks in, so Perkins is able to explode into top position because Barber didn't have tight hooks in. And red flag city, boys. Remember, this fight took place less than a year ago, or just over a year ago, sorry. It took place 18 months ago, something roughly like that. 18 months ago. Barber's not bettable, boys. Barber is not bettable. I've seen all I need to see, really. I mean, we don't need to see any more, right? We don't need to see any more. Let's summarize. While this fight is playing in the background, let's summarize, right? So, before I summarize, let's answer your questions. Oh, no, what we'll do, we'll answer your questions after we summarize. Let me summarize this fight for you. Prior to watching this, I was feeling like, even though Robertson would be able to take Barber down, I felt that Barber had a significant advantage striking, and I felt that on the ground, because Barber's just wild, and her ground and pound is so devastating. I mean, we saw that against Hannah Cyphers. I felt that when these girls get into these crazy back and forth grappling exchanges with loads of reversals, I felt that Robertson wouldn't be able to achieve much when she was on top, whereas Barber would be able to really inflict major damage from top position, like she did to Hannah Cyphers, which would make Robertson lose confidence and fade, and then her grappling would become less effective, right? I mean, again, look how easily Barber gets taken down off that kick. But now what I'm seeing is that might still play out, right? These girls might go to the ground, get involved in these crazy back and forth exchanges with loads of scrambles and reversals, and Barber will still do tons of damage when she's on top, and that'll be the difference in the fight. Because truthfully, Maycee Barber's ground and pound is absolutely devastating. It really is impressive how much damage she's able to inflict from top position. But I mean, look here. Her back is fully exposed, and we know how good Robertson is at taking the back. We know how heavy she is from top position. She's a much more solid, intelligent grappler than what we're seeing from Maycee Barber here. Remember, this fight took place just over a year ago, and while I am sure that Barber has improved a lot since then, remember, ultimately she is still 21 years old. She is still very inexperienced. She does still have loads of holes. And how much realistically could she have improved in the last 18 months? So this is red flag city. For me, Barber's way too happy being on the bottom. This now becomes a clear pass for me, boys. This now becomes very close to a 50-50 fight for me. And if you look at the current odds on both these girls, the current average odds available on Barber, 1.74 for an implied probability of 57%, which is minus 135. Can't better at those odds. And if you look at Robertson, she's currently around about a 2.15 favourite, which is plus 115 for an implied probability of 47%. So again, very, very close to a 50% probability. There's just no value here, boys. There is no value. It's an absolute fucking minefield of a fight for betting. Both girls have huge holes that the other can exploit. So I'll just answer your questions now, and then I'm going to tell you what's coming up next, because that won't be the end of the video, boys. Plenty more coming up in the next 10 minutes. We are going to go straight into another fight. But let me just answer your questions on this one, then we can draw a line into this fight. In case you hadn't realised, if I need to spell it out for you, this is a clear pass from me. So Flores Bunny 7 has said, yeah, I'm getting some custom emoticons. So basically, on the 24th of October, I've got a meeting with a company that specializes in like Twitch designs. So I'm having a huge load of stuff designed for me, like a huge load of animated stuff, like custom emoticons, all that kind of stuff for the channel, new overlays, just specifically for Twitch. And what that means is, at the moment, like when I start a stream, you guys always miss the beginning because the stream goes live and you don't get here in time. So what I'm having like a starting soon screen design, so like I can leave that running for like 10 minutes before I go live, so you can get here and wait for me and then you don't miss the beginning. So all kinds of shit like that I'm having designed. But the meeting's not until the 24th of October, and then they said it's like an 8 to 10 week design process, so it's going to be a while before it's all ready. It's probably going to be January at the earliest. But if you've got any ideas for like the design or like the custom emoticons or anything like that, please, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment below and I will get it done. Like, I'm really interested to get some cool stuff done. Maybe we can get some like funny custom emoticons that are MMA related, that kind of thing. Lee Dosis wants to know Caesar's betting perspective for the fight. Caesar, come here, bro. Caesar, they want to know... Oops, sorry, mate. They want to know Maycee Barber or Gillian Robertson. Let him know. Let him know. Who's going to win? What do you reckon? Do you want to whisper it to me? Okay, good advice, Steve, good advice. He basically said he's a little bit shy, so he whispered it to me instead. He basically said, there's no strong positions on this fight, just pass. That's what Caesar said, so don't take my word for it, don't take my advice. Listen to the dog, Shih Tzus know best. And he said pass, because there's no strong positions on this fight, but he's a little bit shy. Hopefully he'll be able to speak for himself next time. Ice is quite cold has said, what are your thoughts on Sean Woodson? I'm going to live stream my research for the Woodson-Botniak fight tomorrow, dude. Yeah, Zips, you are right, mate. Every time someone donates their Amazon Prime membership to me, Bezos has to cough up and give me some money. And he fucking should as well. I spend an absolute boatload of money on Amazon, so he should give me some money back. Kieran H1. Kieran's one of my elite members. Shout out to you, man. Thanks a lot, mate. But Kieran H1 just saying that it's awful fight IQ from Barber. I couldn't agree more, man. Could not agree more. And I am looking forward to live betting this fight, boys. Lee Dosis and Kieran, two of my elite members. You know there's going to be some F-bombs dropped when these girls fight tomorrow, man. We're going to see tons of bad fight IQ. It's going to give me a fucking headache. I can already feel it. Floats has said, did you think Robertson did well in defending the submission attempts by Frota from the bottom? Seems like Maycee will try something similar. You know what? I did think Robertson did a pretty good job defending from the bottom, but she didn't against Mayra Bueno Silva. She gave up quite a weak armbar. So, yeah, I mean, it was alright in that fight, but there are definitely still holes there. C Michelle 316 or C Michael 316. Really sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, dude. He has said that he thinks that they're giving Barber a step up too quick. I agree with you, dude. I do agree with you. Moneyman Investing has said, I give Barber 60-40 chance of winning. So did I before I watched this fight, mate. But she looks absolutely shit in this fight. So I can't give her a 60% chance of winning anymore. Definite Integral has said, would you lean toward winning Bermudez since they should have an advantage after missing weight? Haven't researched either of those fights yet, mate. I'll be getting to them tonight and tomorrow. Lee Dosis 123 saying Maycee has power in her hands. Yeah, definitely. And that's why I see this fight as 50-50, right? Because there's no doubt Robertson has an advantage on the ground, but Barber's ground and pound is absolutely devastating. And also, you know, with the way that Robertson kind of turtled up and quit against Barb Honchak on The Ultimate Fighter, I could definitely see him Barber getting into top position, raining down ground and pound and getting a similar outcome. So, you know, I think it's very close to 50-50. Floats has said the Vegas always seems to have the line tilted in favour of the hotter girl, so Maycee is unbettable. Man, I think both these girls are pretty hot. Not the best picture there, but I think you know, Maycee Barber is pretty attractive. But if you look at Gillian Robertson, she's pretty nice looking as well, man. She is pretty nice looking as well. Different guys have different tastes. I think I might actually prefer Gillian to Barber. How about that? That's a controversial opinion. But I think that's going to be it for this video, boys. But I will be back immediately. As a selfish content creator, I need to just stop streaming now to create a nice cut point so I can upload this video straight to YouTube. But I'm going to be back literally within 5 minutes because there's another fight that I want to play for you guys. If you were on my live stream earlier on, you'll remember that there is one fight that I wanted to watch before being able to make my mind up on Sean Brady against Court McGee. And someone came through for me in a big way. I'm not exactly sure who it was, but someone left a link to a torrent site which may have had the fight that I needed. It was Sean Brady against Gilbert Urbina. So I have now downloaded this fight. We're going to watch it together in about 5 minutes time, and that will again help me decide what I'm going to do about this fight. So I've now decided that's a clear pass on Robertson, Barber, based on what I've seen. But McGee is a definite potential bet for me, but I need to watch this fight and see how Brady looks in it. So we're going to get a nice clean cut now. I'm going to stop this stream for ease of upload on YouTube, and I'll be back literally in 2 or 3 minutes, guys. So stay on this page. I'll be back in a sec. If you did like this video you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button below. Also subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave a comment. I am sure that even though I have shown you tons of red flags from Maycee Barber, there are a lot of you watching that want to tell me how much of a lock she is. So please leave those comments in the comments below, and I will have a lot of fun reading them and probably making fun of you in the chat room, because there's no way you can bet Barber here as a favourite based on what we have just seen. So nice one, everybody. I will be back in just a sec if you are watching on Twitch. If not, if you're on YouTube, thanks for watching, and I will be back very, very soon with another video.